What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, live for the first fantasy football content of this 2020 NFL offseason. Here to do a special mock draft, the first of the fantasy season, with some subscribers, Patreon members, Dercant, Ultra. They're a little knowledgeable, not quite as knowledgeable as me, especially in regards to fantasy when I whooped Dercant last year in the BLV League, which will be available soon, and we'll get you guys in there. But wanted to get a fun way of starting up fantasy content on the channel by doing a mock draft here. So we're going to have some fun, and if you guys have any fantasy or NFL related questions, make sure you get in the comments, and also Gronk spike the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Before I do introduce the guys and we get into this draft, make sure if you are interested in my fantasy advice for the upcoming season that you do subscribe to the Patreon, because that's going to be where most of the exclusive information will be for fantasy, because a lot of the time people are playing fantasy for money. I play it for quite a bit of money, so I don't want to give away a lot of my advice for free. While I'll have some stuff for free, the special sauce will be in the Patreon, so make sure you join the Patreon. All right. So let's get into the draft. Has this draft started yet, guys?
No, it's 1 minute 30.
No, I got started in 1 minute 30.
All right. Unfortunately, Party missed out on joining. Did you join, Party?
I know.
No, I couldn't join.
I have the first overall pick. You guys might be interested in who I'm going to pick first overall.
So, okay, let's go through it. Dercant.
He's gonna pick AB probably.
Dercant pick Marlon Mack first.
Dercant,
even though he's not.
You're at first spot. The two clear guys for number 1 overall. Most people are going CMC, but there is an urge to go with Mr. Saquon Barkley. So, who are you thinking, Dercant? Just right off the top. If you do have first overall pick, I'm not sure how this actually works on ESPN.
No, he does. I think he does.
He's a beast. He gets a lot of volume. He's a PPR god because of how many catches he gets and everything. And Teddy Bridgewater is a check down master, so he's gonna still be getting a lot of volume. But Saquon, I think that the Giants got better run blocking wise with Andrew Thomas. Saquon should be healthy again next year, so he should have better blocking, and I do think that he's a better straight-up runner than Christian McCaffrey. So it'll be interesting. I think,
just talking about them as players, I think where I separate the two is like Saquon is more of a big play threat, but McCaffrey is more of a receiving threat.
Yeah.
Shout out to Turtle, who says Milani. He's now referring me to as Milani now. Milani didn't want me in here because I would have destroyed everyone, says Turtle.
Your draft will be ready after a word from the sponsor, it says.
Yep. I got 7th pick. Dercant's got first pick.
Woo-hoo-hoo. First overall.
Yeah, so right now I'm probably going to end up making a video like I do every year on who I would select first overall. And I know this might be a hot take, but I kind of feel Saquon. If I was on the hot seat, I would go with Saquon. And I know that I'm kind of like favoritism. Like I like Saquon more as a player and all that. I think he's better in real life, which is a separate conversation. But I just feel like first, there is this like first overall pick curse that whoever's projected to be first overall always ends up being cursed for some reason and not producing at the same level. Last year, it was actually Saquon, and he got injured. But I feel like if you look and compare the numbers down the half stretch, the last stretch of the year, Saquon was just as good, if not better, than McCaffrey. And I do feel the Giants are going to be a better offense than the Panthers this year. I also think that offensive line is actually pretty underrated when you talk about their ability to run block. So I don't know. I think Saquon's out for vengeance this year, and I think he's going to, just like Ultra said, he's going to be able to hit those big plays. And with him, like, he could be struggling all game. He could be having one of those Barry Sanders, 10 carries for 10 yards, and then all of a sudden he breaks one for 60. and has a great game. So that's the thing with
Also,
Saquon.
Should I draft Michael Thomas?
DMC plays in the NFC South too, and the NFC South has some pretty tough run defenses. The Bucks and the Saints and the.
That's true.
So, yeah.
McCaffrey certainly has a better ceiling in terms of the receiving game, though. There's no doubt about that. The guy is on a different level, especially in terms of just I think there's probably more of a safe factor to him just because in a PPR league where he's just going to catch so many passes. The floor is there.
I'm thinking of drafting Michael Thomas.
I am not drafting a receiver. I'm not drafting Michael Thomas. If I was going to draft a receiver in the first round, it would probably be Devante Adams.
You love Devante.
Well,
you love the Packers, bro.
He's
in love.
I like Adams in fantasy, though. Would he be your number 2 pick at receiver?
At receiver, probably.
I would say so because the touchdowns are going to hurt Julio.
I'm on the clock. I'm looking at Christian McCaffrey.
Ariana's in the chat. Busboy says you got to go with CMC. Can both run and catch. Turtle says you hate Michael Thomas, Ultra. Oh, Durkant, who are you going with?
Durkant, go with Josh Jacobs.
I'm picking Saquon. I don't know if it might be a regret, but
Mitch approved.
I'm going with Saquon.
Turtle says in the BLV league, he is drafting Julio and benching him.
What a jerk.
Tyrell says Eckler is going to have a monster year. He had a monster year last year.
I found at least 25 appointments.
I don't want to pick Chris Godwin.
At number 2, number 3, this guy's struggling to pick.
Bro,
this is the thing I hate about mock drafts. Most of the time, just a pro tip for you guys, if you do mock drafts, do best ball mock drafts. 1, people take it more seriously, especially if you put like $1 in, because then you're going to get more out of it. And 2, they're longer drafts, so you actually have the chance to go through like more rounds and look at more players and where they're going. So that's a pro tip.
I don't like Zeke that much.
Ultra is on the board.
Ultra, there's a couple Saints there sitting for you. What are you thinking?
How did?
Due to the fact that I think the receivers go deeper than the running backs, I'm gonna take Kamara.
Ooh, he took a Saint. Dalvin Cook was there.
Kamara's gonna be good.
Yeah, Kamara with just the receiving game, the catches in a PPR league, he's much more valuable than standard or even half PPR.
Yep. And Drew Brees loves to just swing past people to death. So.
Yeah, that's true. We know that to be true.
Ooh, Dalvin Cook. That's an interesting pick because I think value
he's
is
gonna hold out. That's pretty risky.
Yeah. That's why I probably would have picked Cook if he had if I didn't not think he would hold out, but.
I don't know. Like last year, we had the whole thing with Zeke and Gordon where, they were holding out and the whole contract situation. And then all of a sudden, as I'm up on the clock, they still play anyways.
And Zeke got paid. So.
All right. So at number 7 here, everybody's been going running back heavy. When I look at the board, I don't really see a running back. Derrick Henry's the top-rated one, but especially in a PPR league, I'm not a huge Derrick Henry guy. If this was a standard league, then I'd probably go with Henry. But as we discussed, I do think Adams is probably the second best option at receiver because of the target share that he has. So I'm going to pick Devante Adams.
He's taking Tay.
Of course you hate Julio, so we all know that.
I think Adams and Hopkins are close. Julio's probably a firm number 4 for me in terms of fantasy. Like in real life, I'd take him first, but I don't know.
Hear that, Turtle?
Godwin's going to be insane in fantasy.
Singh says he hates Derrick Henry.
I may have to pick Godwin, to be honest.
Why do you hate Derrick Henry? Is that because you're a Patriots fan?
Derrick Henry, he's a monster.
Bro, why is Kenny Golladay all the way down at 22?
Ooh, is it a
That's a
sleeper?
I think that might be a sleeper.
That's a steal.
We got a question. Why is everyone saying Dalvin Cook is insane when he only had one 1,000-yard season?
Bruh.
Did you see the Vikings offense without him last year? They were whack.
He's been injury prone, but when he's on the field, he is an absolute stud. He's
a top
very
5 running back.
shifty. He has really good vision.
He's very balanced. Like he can
really great.
run. He can be a great power runner. He can also run with speed, and he can also catch out of the backfield.
Yeah, he's a top 5 running back when he's playing.
Yeah, I think just to counter to what he said, I think if you actually watch him in 2018, even when he wasn't like a 1,000-yard running back, if you watched him for any of those games, you would notice that he had the talent to be that. So I think he's honestly had 2 seasons where he's been pretty elite. I know that he was hurt, but...
And in 2017, before he got hurt, he was pretty good as well.
Brian says it's all about the robust running back strategy. A lot of people love to go running backs early. I kind of zig and zag, like, I don't know. It kind of depends where I'm picking. I often feel like if you're in the top 3, I like to go running back and then, like, just go for receivers all day and then pick a solid running back too, because you can count on Saquon, Zeke, and McCaffrey. When you're picking kind of like in the middle, like 4 or 5, you probably go running back, although I don't know, Michael Thomas is enticing. And I think if you're at the back of the draft, you're going to pick 2 running backs, because that's probably the best way to build your team from there. But it depends on the pick, to be honest with me. So Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Miles Sanders, Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs are on the board. There's a lot of good players here. It's a 10-team league. I think I'm going to skip over the receivers. Party says take Josh Jacobs. Skipped over the receivers. And honestly, looking at this, I mean, it's probably between Jacobs and Mixon. I think I'm going to go with Jacobs because, I don't know, it's close. I think depending on the draft and how I feel, I go with a different player there. But let's just say I think Jacobs probably has the higher floor than Mixon does, because I think his offensive line is just better. But Mixon, if Jacobs can catch more passes, I think he probably ends up being a top 5 running back at fantasy. So
you won't regret that pick, Mitch.
And I also did it for Party. So
we got let's see who's on the board: Mike Evans, Nick Chubb, Eckler, Joe Mixon, who Kevin Durant hates.
My first pick was Devante Adams.
I'm gonna pick Mike Evans.
Oh,
That's a solid pick. Mike Evans is productive every year.
Yep. Was that 6 straight 1,000-yard season? Pretty sure. So.
And you would have to think that his consistency, because that's been the biggest thing with him from week to week, is consistency. It should be better because he has a better quarterback now, and they'll be a better team. But
hear that, Turtle?
Right.
Brady is better than Jameis.
Austin Eckler, Travis Kelce, Kenny Golladay, DJ Moore. Those are the first few guys up there. Austin Eckler is a PPR god, but Kenny
the quarterback
Galladay's really
situation's got to scare you, though.
I have great. All right, so I have back-to-back picks. I'm going to go with Travis Kelce. He's super consistent. You know what you're getting from him.
Tight end.
Bus is salty.
I think that's Kelsey. That it kind of depends on what type of fantasy player you are. If you feel like you can pick a top tight end there, I know a lot of people are picking Kelsey around the late second round and feeling good about it. So.
I'm going Golladay. I think he's going to ball with Stafford. He was great last year.
With who?
Stafford. He was great last year. You improve the quarterback so much. I think that he's going to blow out, and plus he's great in the red zone, so he's going to get you touchdowns. So I'm going to go with Kenny Golladay there. So I have Saquon, Golladay, and Travis Kelce on my team.
Mitch, Busboy is salty. We didn't invite him.
Yeah, next time, Busboy. I kind of just said to the guys like a half hour ago, I was like, you want to do a mock draft? And so
okay. So I'm on the.
DJ Moore, I like DJ Moore this year too.
DJ Moore is the most underrated receiver in the NFL.
Who do you think is starting for the Patriots? I think it's Cam. Go ahead.
I'm not big on.
Did you pick Thielen? Or,
Yeah, I picked Thielen.
I'm looking at.
all right, I'm up again. So Chris Carson's interesting, but we don't really know the injury situation. Juju, Amari. I like Amari. I seem to be leaving a lot of drafts with Amari Cooper. But something I've noticed here, this is a PPR league. Remember who I said is the best receiving back in the draft. He's still here, and this is a lot longer than he usually lasts. Usually he goes in the second round. So I'm going to take Clyde Edwards-Helaire with my pick.
Oh, my God.
So I got my 2 running backs when I really didn't think that was going to be the case. But I'm feeling good about my team right now. I got Jacobs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Adams.
He took Juju in the third round. That's a bust.
I don't know. Is he, though? I guess it depends how much the Steelers pass the ball this year.
I'm kind of shaky on Adam Thielen this year.
Me too. But
I like him this year because I think he's going to get a lot of the ball. I mean, Diggs isn't there. So...
Ooh, T. Malani is on the clock.
Oh,
again.
you guys know who I'm picking. Just look at the board.
Who? No.
Why is he still here, guys? 4th round.
I wanted Odell.
The 4th round. I just got Odell Beckham Jr. I'll take that.
Yo, should I take Todd Gurley?
Oof. I don't know. I like Ridley more than him.
Yeah,
Looking
but
at the board, if Odell wasn't there, I think I would have picked probably Ridley, to be honest. Maybe
Yeah, but
I seem to be picking Lockett a lot because he's just so I feel like Lockett's so safe.
I'm taking Ridley. I'm being a homer.
It's a fair pick.
I think Metcalf's going to be better than Lockett this year. Honestly.
What's wrong with Clyde? Turtle's hating.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a stud.
Yeah, what's wrong with Clyde?
Brian wants to know Gurley, Fournette, or David Johnson. Based on where they're, I mean, on ESPN, Gurley and David Johnson are going back to back in terms of ADP. I don't think I've picked Gurley once in any mock drafts. I've picked David Johnson because I feel like David Johnson has been dropping more, and I still think he's going to produce when he gets the ball 20 times a game in Houston. So I don't mind him as a running back too, but I don't know. I prefer not to pick any of them, to be honest. I'd probably put Fournette last on there.
There's a certain running back from Tampa that I'm kind of looking at, but I think it's
Ronald
too early.
Jones. I'm looking at receivers here: Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp.
I actually like James Conner at running back at this point in the draft. If you need a running back, I think
I'm gonna go with Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, that's the. I seem to be leaving a lot of drafts with him just because he's so safe. I think
And I'm gonna pick a QB. I'm gonna go with future stud MVP candidate Kyler Murray.
Oof. I think that's a little
Ooh,
reach
10?
there.
Ooh.
Explain your Kyler Murray pick.
Kyler Murray's gonna be amazing. And plus, I don't pick until like way late. I probably wasn't gonna get him anyway.
Now, this could backfire, but it's a mock draft.
Have I
and
picked
also,
Brady?
Also, I think this guy's actually going to have a decent season this year compared to what he had last season. So I'm going to pick David Johnson.
So you like David Johnson over Bell then?
I think Le'Veon Bell's done.
All right, I'm up again. So right now we have Jacobs, Edwards, Hilaire, Devante Adams, and OBJ.
That's a good
Now,
team.
I could go with one of these upside receivers. There's a lot of them. I mean, look at all of these receivers at the top of the board. But to be honest with you, when you look at the board, I think I'm going to be able to get a nice receiver at pick 54, which is my next pick. So I'm going to pick a running back. I said I like James Conner, but there's a rookie sitting on the board right now that I think has huge potential, and that's Jonathan Taylor. Party loves it.
That's a good pick. Jonathan
Looking at
Taylor
quarterback now.
He's a stud. He's a stud.
Peace, Ariana. Brian says, I meant that's who I
Especially
recommend you
behind
take. Oh, okay.
Busboy wants someone to take Chase Claypool.
I'll
I am
I'll
not
take Chase
taking-
Claypool last. I'll do it for Busboy.
I'm not taking anyone on that sorry Steelers offense.
Okay, am I wrong by thinking this? I feel like James Conner's going to get the ball. I think they're going to run it more than people think. People think that Ben's just going to come in there off of injury and just be like he had Antonio Brown and just sling it. Like, that's not going to happen.
Their O-line is so good, so I can see it.
Who's Antonio Brown?
I don't know.
Julio's dead.
Oh.
He's not in a mental hospital yet.
I don't know.
Look at all these. And Rob Gronkowski just went.
Look at all these tight ends going when I'm safe.
I
and
want a
secure with
quarterback.
Travis.
I'm looking
Okay.
at 3 quarterbacks.
That's why I
So we
picked
have
him
some
up.
intriguing receivers here. 2 that stand out to me are 2 guys that broke out last year, Chark and Metcalf. And I think I've been saying, all offseason, I think DK Metcalf is going to have a huge year and just maybe even be better than Lockett. So I'm going to go with DK Metcalf.
God dang it! I was gonna. I was gonna have both him and Lockett on my team. Would have been so nice.
And now I pick at pick 67, so I got a while, but I'll probably be looking at a tight end in my next pick, but we'll see.
I'm sitting safe and
Okay.
secure with
Oh.
Travis Kelce.
All right, so I'm looking at quarterback here. I'm between Watson and Wilson, and
Wilson.
I think it's just because, I think Wilson has less of an injury concern than Watson. I also think Wilson's probably more consistent, so I'm going to take Wilson here.
Brady and Stafford, I think they're going to be really good fantasy QBs. They're going pretty late. It's kind of interesting. All right, I'm up. And I see Jarvis Landry, DJ Chark.
You can tell how
DeAndre-
close Brady through Stafford are because all 6 quarterbacks are 6 in a
DeAndre
row.
Swift, he's young and he's got a lot of upside on both sides of the ball. I'm taking Dre Swift.
Yeah, honestly, if you want a quarterback, Watson's a good value right now considering how highly he's ranked compared
Yeah,
to
I'm
Brady.
noticing there's a lot of good quarterbacks that are going late, a lot of sleepers. All right, I'm looking at receivers. We got Jarvis Landry. I don't think he's going to have the same year. He was great for me last year, but I don't. DJ Chark is interesting. Tyler Boyd and AJ Green.
AJ Green, if he's AJ Green, is a complete steal.
I'm
I
going to
don't know
go
if he'll
with
come
Diggs
back
because
the
of his
same, but
downfield
that's-
ability. I think he's going to have a good year with Josh Allen.
Diggs is going a little bit later, than I thought he would. But so
Yeah, I
many
think he's
people are
older,
just
so-
down on Josh Allen that I think that's why he's going.
I wouldn't want him as my
I'm not
receiver one.
taking Montgomery
He's a
or
solid number
Cohen.
two.
because I'm down on the Bears offense and run game.
David Montgomery is so bad.
I'm between Boyd and Green. And simply because of the upside I think Green has compared to Boyd, I'm going to actually take Green here.
So what's your roster build right now, Ultra?
Wilson, Kamara, and David Johnson, Evans, Moore, Ridley, and AJ Green.
Honestly,
I
guys,
like it.
look at Deshaun Watson. Ooh, could I? You know what?
Deshaun Watson's not on the board yet.
I'm going to go with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, these are a lot.
I usually
not
don't
taking
pick a
your-
quarterback at all, like, that high, but, I mean...
You're not taking your boy Tom Brady?
But when you look at the value for Deshaun Watson, like, I could argue that Watson will finish as a top 3 fantasy quarterback, and he was ranked 77th on ESPN. Brady was ranked 108th. Now, guys, remember when and Brady was the next off the board. Like, remember when I said I might want a tight end? This is where you got to read the rankings that you're on. So, tight ends that I really like this year, like, I like Ingram and Higbee quite a bit, like, where they're being placed.
Too.
And they're ranked 87, 88. I could easily pick one right here at 74, or I could pick another receiver coming up. But I could pick Will Fuller with Deshaun Watson.
I've been getting Jared Cook a lot in these some of the mock drafts I've
He's
done.
Brown.
You like, and even Brandon Cooks is ranked at 97.
Mitch, why is your boy Cam so low on the quarterback ranking?
I think it's because they haven't properly adjusted yet. But he'll rise.
He's only one above Jared Goff.
I'll be getting Cam. I've been getting Cam a lot because of where he's ranked. But okay, so again, where do I pick next? So Ingram. All right. Yeah, so I think the difference between Evan Ingram and the next group of tight ends is pretty significant. Although I don't mind Jared Cook. I think Evan Ingram could have a big year, so I'm going to go with him.
Evan Ingram is interesting. Interesting pick.
So right now I just went QB tight end, which is I've been picking tight ends in the middle rounds quite often this year. I just feel confident in those tight ends, but Watson, Jacobs, Edwards-Helaire, Adams, Beckham, Ingram, Jonathan Taylor, and DK Metcalf. That's my team right now.
Well, I got Travis Kelce, so.
Durkant, what's your team?
I'm gonna
Kyler
take
Murray, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, Kenny Golladay, Tyler Lockett, Travis Kelce, and Stephon Diggs.
I'm taking Ronald Jones.
Ooh, what do you think about Ronald Jones?
He's solid.
I actually think he's underrated. I think people are sleeping on his ability as a pass catcher last year.
Yeah, honestly,
Alright,
I was listening to the fantasy footballers, and they were talking about how like they're rising on him, and I just don't understand how if you actually watched the Bucs play last year, like how you could actually be sleeping on Ronald Jones. I understand he had a terrible rookie year, but if you watched him last season, he was actually pretty underrated, like pretty solid last year.
I'm going with Will Fuller because of the upside.
It's a good pick. I've been picking him a lot. There's another guy right sitting there. I know you don't like him, but same thing. Marquise Brown. I've been picking him a lot too.
I like. Yeah, he has. The Ravens run the ball a lot though. That's my only.
But he's the
You're-
clear-cut first receiver. Like, there is nobody else.
Durkant is also low on the
Actually,
Ravens.
yeah, you've convinced me. I'm taking Marquise Brown.
You got him too. You got both. I forgot you're back-to-back.
Yeah,
Mitch,
Fuller
you have
and
to
Brown.
Mitch, you have to try to trick Durkant into taking.
Yeah,
someone
gotta pick him
terrible.
shitty guy. So, you just picked Will Fuller. Based on that I have Deshaun Watson and the potential for the stack here, I'm going to go with Brandon Cooks.
Yeah,
I think
they have speed for days. They can be big play guys.
I think Brandon Cooks is a perfect fit for their offense, and I think just look at his career. He's a really productive receiver, no matter where he's going.
I see a nice PPR option. I really hope he doesn't go.
Uh-oh. I see a bunch on the screen right now.
Yeah, I see a bunch.
Please do not pick this guy. Henry Ruggs.
Oh, I've been saying I want to leave every draft with Henry Ruggs. That's a good pick.
I like Judy. Deontay Johnson.
Hey guys, if you haven't already, Gronk spiked the like button. And if you aren't in the Discord, I don't know what you're doing, but join the Discord.
Yeah, join the Discord.
I don't know how you haven't found it already.
Damian Williams. I do not
I'm
like
thinking
Damian
about
Williams.
taking the guy that made. Well,
Uh-oh.
actually, no, because his bye week is. No, I'm not going to take him.
I really don't like Damian Williams this year. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is just going to take all of the load.
See, I feel like I'm with you, Dirkant. You're either one or the other. You're like, Edwards-Helaire isn't going to be what we think, and it's going to be Williams, or no, Edwards-Hilaire's a stud. They drafted him in the first round. You're one or the other.
Williams is going to be...
There goes back-to-back Patriots right before I select.
That was
So I have
smart.
3 running backs. I have 4 receivers. And, wow,
I'm thinking
Jared
about
Cook is still on the
taking-
board.
Thinking about taking Durkant's boy here, but I may
So-
go tight end.
Considering that this is tough, but considering that there's some rumors about Mostert getting traded, I actually don't mind picking Tevin Coleman here. So I'm going to go with Tevin Coleman.
Tevin Coleman. Christian Kirk, or we got some auto picks. Ultra's up, and then some auto picks, then me.
All right, so Jamison Crowder is a PPR god, and just based on that alone, I'm taking Jamison Crowder.
He's going to get 15 bubble screens in a row from Adam
All
Gase.
right, I'm looking right now. I am
Oh,
looking...
Brady and Ryan are gone.
Oh, Brady went ahead of Ryan!
I'm looking at Matt Breida and Marlon Mack, because even though I think Jonathan Taylor's going to be a beast, I do think that they're going to split a good amount of carries. So, and their offensive line is still super nasty, and I think that they're going to run the ball a ton. So I'm going to take Marlon Mack over Matt Breida.
Durkan, I was thinking about picking your boy Preston Williams.
Not bad. Well, looking at wide receivers,
You
I
weren't a
have a
fan of
lot
that.
of wide receivers. But
Mitch is not a fan.
Hey, wait. I want to hear from
Ooh.
Durkant in regards to the Miami running back situation.
hold up,
What do
I'm
you think?
taking T.J. Hawkinson.
What do you think about the running back situation in Miami?
For fantasy or for...
Fantasy.
Yeah, for fantasy. I think that they're both. I think that Howard is gonna get. I think they're both gonna get a similar amount of the workload, but I think that Matt Breida is a better bet for a big run because he's so fast. So I think that if you're looking for one of the two in fantasy, Matt Breida is the better option. But I wouldn't.
I'm between Preston Williams
I
and
wouldn't
John
want
Brown.
either even as my RB2. I'd want them as a flex or a bench guy.
I'm gonna take Williams.
Devontae Parker's the guy on our offense that you might consider, or Mike Gesicki. He's good too.
So
And
this is
Preston
interesting.
Williams.
I'm looking at receivers and upside here. I mean, Slayton clearly has the most upside. I already have Ingram.
I
Jerry
think
Jeudy is
Jeudy's a
there.
sleeper.
N'Keal Harry is
Oh.
there.
That's
Justin
a terrible
Jefferson.
decision.
I think I'm going to go with Slayton just because of the upside, and I don't really need him to start, so might as well.
Slayton had some really good fantasy games last year. I picked him up off the waivers.
Usually I never pick him because usually he goes a lot higher than where he is on ESPN. See, this is the difference between sites. Like, I've been drafting a lot on Yahoo for the best ball, and they have a lot of different rankings than ESPN. So,
Ooh, I see somebody who is a nice option. A very nice option. But my pick is until a while. So,
Matt Breida.
not a running back.
Hayden Hurst.
I'm thinking about a running back, but
What about Hayden Hurst, Ultra? Let the people know what you think.
he's a solid tight end. I don't think he's not going to be the first option in an offense with Julio and Ridley, but I actually think he's going to be pretty good in the red zone, like most tight ends are. And I don't think he's honestly that much of a downgrade from Hooper.
Yeah, Hooper's kind of overrated.
All right, I'm up once again, and I got my flex up on the board. I mean, guys, at a certain point, it is round 12, and a potential starting running back is on the board. Sony Michel. Give me him.
Oh, God.
Take him.
That's
Can't
terrible.
move.
At a
Jerry
certain
Jeudy.
point, Cam Newton is going to make this running game better. I do have a couple
David
question
Anderson's
marks
running
in
back.
terms of rookies at running back, so the depth is nice.
David
Matt,
Andrews.
I'm gonna take Matt Breida.
It's not a bad pick.
I've been picking a lot of Dolphins for some reason.
Oh,
I don't know if that's a good idea.
They picked Matt Stafford and Drew Brees right before I was going to pick them. Interesting.
Now there's some interesting rookie younger guys on the board now. There's
I may have to get
Hardman,
Cam before
Harry,
Mitch.
Jefferson, Rieger, Moss, CD.
Mitch, I may have to get Cam before you can.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to go with Mecole Hardman.
Ooh.
I think that
Explain.
Never
he showed,
mind. His
I
bye
think he
week.
showed a lot of flashes last season. And that offense is electric, and I think that the defense won't be nearly as good last year, so I think it's going to be out on the field more, which will just give him more opportunities. But I think that there will be a few nights where he could be a decent flex. And I need a backup QB. You got to take the main man, Aaron Rodgers.
Ah.
All right.
I trust him more than Daniel Jones and Big Ben. I'll say that.
So I'm between Daniel Jones and Big Ben.
I wouldn't draft Ben because
I
I'm
honestly think
continuing
Daniel
with the-
Jones has more upside.
Oh, yeah, I would
actually
agree
think
with that.
Ben?
I
For
actually
sure.
think he's going to be pretty good this year, so I'm actually going to take Daniel Jones.
You guys are straight up haters. Now, this is the thing. I don't
What?
usually, unless I have a sketchy starting quarterback, I don't tend to pick starter or backups. But because a guy named Cam Newton is on the board, if Cam Newton just goes off in week 1, he's going to be picked up by everybody. So I'll pick Cam Newton.
There's some QBs down there that I actually like more than Newton. I like Burrow. I think Burrow's going to have a pretty good fantasy year.
I think Locke has a lot of upside as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of quarterbacks with upside. I don't hate at all just picking 2 guys that you think will break out.
All right.
All right, so I
So-
need,
I'm up.
before we get to defenses and stuff, I need one more player on my bench.
I do too. So I have 1, 2,
I
3,
don't.
5 receivers,
I
and
need a
I think
backup.
the pick is Alexander Madison in case Dalvin Cook holds
Yeah,
out.
that's what I was thinking.
All
I don't
right,
like any
so
of these running back options though, if I'm being honest with you.
I
Yeah,
just
I'd
need
go
a backup
receiver
tight
for
end.
sure.
I just need a backup tight end. So in this case, I'm just gonna pick defense and kicker with my next few picks. So I think the Steelers' defense is going to be amazing this year. So I'm picking that.
All right, I'm up. I need one last player on my bench. So I'm looking at these running backs. Mostert's probably going to be traded. And if he is traded, I think that his volume will be similar to the guy you drafted, Tevin Coleman. So I think that because of the upside, I'm going to go with Jerick McKinnon.
Oh!
And that's it. And now
Isn't AB still there?
I'm going to go with a defense. You said AP?
AB.
Nah, he's out of the league.
No, you can draft him though.
Buffalo. I don't think they're going to get that many turnovers. Baltimore's defense is interesting. New England's is interesting. I'm going to go with the 49ers because they're the best bet to get sacks. I could have went Denver's, honestly.
Okay, so I'm just going to draft a kicker now. And so I'm going to go with maybe the greatest kicker of all time, potentially, Justin Tucker.
Ooh. I'm going with the second best defense in the NFL.
The Buccaneers, the Blue. What's your team?
My team?
Yeah. Both?
Like my entire team?
Yeah.
You want
whole
both
team.
of our team?
All right. Yeah. We're just finishing up here with kickers and stuff like that. So this is my team. Deshaun Watson at QB, Deshaun Watson and Cam Newton at quarterback, running back, Jacobs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor, Tevin Coleman, Alexander Madison, Sony Michel, wide receiver, Devante Adams, Odell Beckham, DK Metcalf, Cooks, and Slayton. Tight end is Evan Ingram, and defense is the Bucs. Now I'm picking my kicker. Greg the Leg is there. Dallas's offense, Robbie is there. Matt Gay. For kickers, just look for good offensive output. I'm going to go with...
Matt Gay sucks. Don't pick him.
Yeah, I wasn't going to pick him. I'm going to go with Greg because I think Matt Gay could probably get replaced. Greg is a good kicker, plus it's the Cowboys offense, so I'm going to take him.
What's your team?
I'm about to finish, so 1 second. Let me pick a backup tight end, and I'll pick Austin Hooper, I guess. All right. So my team is Russell Wilson and Daniel Jones at quarterback. Running backs are Kamara, David Johnson, Ronald Jones, and Matt Breida. Receivers, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, AJ Green, Jamison Crowder, and Preston Williams. Tight ends, Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper. Defense is the Steelers. Kickers, Justin Tucker.
All right. Durkant with the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant.
All right. I'm going with...
Durkant is the most relevant. So
my kicker is... I'm just going to go with Cyber because the Browns have good offense.
All right, guys. I'm going to share this team on Twitter for you guys if you want to check it out. But thank you guys for joining the live mock draft. Thank you to Ultra. Thank you to Durkant for drafting with me. We'll do a lot more of these, maybe even once a week or something like that. So I'm going to start doing some fantasy content on the channel. We're still going to be doing, normal NFL stuff, predictions for teams and previews for teams, different topic videos for teams and rankings probably still. But fantasy is going to be coming because I know that's definitely an area that people want me to focus on. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for joining the first mock draft of fantasy season. It's Mitch, Durkant, Ultra. Peace.